You ever wake up thinking it's just another Tuesday and by noon you're standing in front of your own ranch office while a 65-year-old HOA president is screaming at you to get out, "This is my property now," and waving down the police like she's directing air traffic at LAX? Yeah, well, that was me, Marcus Thompson, 35, owner of a small agricultural consulting company out here in the peaceful, or so I thought, edge of suburbia. Now, if you've ever had to deal with an HOA, especially the power-hungry kind, you already know where this is headed. But trust me, you don't know the half of it. It all started on what should have been a normal day. I was in the middle of a video call with a client from Texas talking cattle breeding programs, standard stuff, when I noticed red and blue lights strobing through my window. And not just one cruiser. No, it was a full-blown parade. My client's asking if I'm getting arrested like this is the entertainment portion of our meeting. I tell him to hang tight while I try to figure out what fresh hell has landed in my driveway. Through the window, I see 2 patrol cars, lights going, and their center stage is Margaret Whitfield, or Maggie if she's pretending to be friendly. Newest president of the Sunset Hills HOA, retired school principal, bun so tight you could bounce a quarter off at glasses the size of saucers, and a black blazer with shoulder pads that scream, "I peaked in 1989. She's out there yelling at the cops that I'm a trespasser, illegally occupying the community ranch office, possibly armed and dangerous. The officers knock on my door like it's a hostage situation, and I have to excuse myself from my meeting, already feeling my blood pressure climbing. The lead cop, Rodriguez, he's got that "not again" look. He tells me they got a call about someone squatting here, possibly armed. I just laugh, couldn't help it, and tell him this is my property, my office, and I've owned it since 2019. That's when Maggie barrels past him, shrieking that I'm lying, and that as HOA president she has supreme authority over anything within 100 meters of their little subdivision. Apparently my horses are also now a public menace. You know what I mean? At that point I could see the neighbors gathering phones out, popcorn, probably in hand, because Maggie's HOA shenanigans are local theater at this point. So I do what any rancher who keeps his life in the cloud would do. I pull up my property deeds and hand them to Rodriguez. He checks calls dispatch, and 5 minutes later he's officially done with Maggie's nonsense. "This is Mr. Thompson's property. Ma'am, do not use 911 for civil disputes." You should have seen her face fish out a water jaw, working like she was trying to chew air. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. As the officers drove away, I knew deep down that Maggie wasn't going to let this go. She had that look like she was planning her next move before the squad cars even left the gravel. Let me back up a sec, because none of this started with a 911 call. It started months earlier when Maggie and her little inner circle tried to buy a piece of my land. See, my ranch sits right where suburbia ends and the real country begins. I'd bought it from the Hendersons, an older couple who'd run cattle here for decades before retiring to Florida. Besides my office and the stables, there's this stretch 2,000 square meters of prime undeveloped land I'd kept for future plans. A few years after I bought in Sunset Hills pops up. At first, we're good neighbors. But the minute Maggie gets elected HOA president, the whole vibe shifts. She's issuing citations for trash cans put out a minute early, grass too long, paint colors not harmonizing with her vision of paradise. Then one day, she and Carol Jenkins, the HOA secretary, show up at my office. Maggie's dressed for the G8 summit. Carol looks like she'd rather be anywhere else. Maggie offers me 50 grand for that stretch of land, which is laughable considering it's worth 4, maybe 5 times that. I turn her down politely. She warns me real mafia style about making my life complicated. I smile, finish my tea, and show them the door. That was the day the war officially started. Next thing I know, I'm getting HOA violation letters for the dumbest things you can imagine. Horses neighing too loud, barn painted, the wrong red feed truck parked too long. My favorite $500 fine for olfactory assault from livestock emissions. Translation: horse poop smells. Over the next month, the fines stack up, thousands of dollars worth, each more absurd than the last. Then comes the Friday night ambush. Maggie, Carol, and a couple board members roll up in force demanding I comply with community standards. I show them the official county survey. Their HOA doesn't touch my property by 50 meters. Maggie loses it, says she'll find a way. But what she finds is a security system, 16 cameras, night vision, the works that catches everything. That's how I know what happened next. Carol Jenkins, bless her, shows up at dawn looking like she hasn't slept in a week. She's shaking in tears, says Maggie forced her to forge board member signatures to pass some bogus emergency resolution demanding I build a 4-meter wall, pay, $8,000 in fines, and give the HOA full access to my land with penalties stacking by the day. Carol recorded the meeting, has the audio, everything, Maggie threatening to expose her debt if she doesn't cooperate. By now, I'm done playing defense. I call my lawyer Robert and show him the evidence, Carol's recording video of Maggie sneaking onto my land at 2 a.m., staging a fake injury for an insurance scam, her accomplices photographing her agony for a lawsuit she'd already drafted. Robert's floored. This is criminal, he says. Fraud, conspiracy, forgery, trespass. Sure enough, Maggie doubles down, calls 911 again, claims I assaulted her, destroyed evidence, she needs a SWAT team. When the cops arrive, I'm ready, footage, recordings, deeds, the works. Maggie's caught red-handed. 2 weeks later, the whole circus moves to county court. The gallery's packed, half the neighborhood's here to see what happens. Robert lays out the evidence, 911 call, audio videos of Maggie's late-night Oscar performance, Carol's testimony about the forged signatures and the secret fund transfers that just happened to end up in Maggie's bank account. Turns out she'd been collecting donations from residents for a community center on land she didn't own, my land. The judge, a no-nonsense woman who's seen every scam in the book, looks over the deeds and titles. She rules in front of everyone that the entire parcel buildings pastures the disputed land belongs to me and always has. Maggie's frozen in place, color draining from her face. The judge refers her for criminal charges, fraud, embezzlement, arson. Yeah, she tried to burn down my storage building after she was kicked out as president and left her driver's license at the scene, true story. HOA membership revolts, votes her out, and she leaves the meeting shrieking about betrayal. So Maggie goes to jail, 18 months restitution to everyone she scammed, lifetime ban from any HOA office. Her house had to sell it to pay the fines. Guess who bought it at a discount? That's right. It's my new guest house now. And she had to do her community service picking up trash right in front of my ranch in an orange vest every Saturday at sunrise. But you know what? Out of all this chaos, something good grew. That stretch of land Maggie wanted so badly, I turned it into Freedom Park, an accessible, sensory-friendly space for kids, a garden, picnic areas, and a big bronze plaque that tells the story. Where greed tried to take root, generosity blooms. Carol runs our therapeutic writing program now. Harold Peterson, one of Maggie's old cronies, found redemption as our maintenance supervisor, and the new HOA actually serves the community instead of ruling it. The kicker. The sign at my ranch entrance, 12 feet wide, lit up at night. This is a free zone. Horses run free, and so do we. Lifetime ban, Margaret Whitfield, crimes, fraud, arson, being a Karen. That sign went viral. People drive in from all over just to take pictures with it. And Maggie, she eventually sent me a letter from Puerto Rico, said she finally understood what she'd lost. Maybe she did. Maybe not. Either way, the lesson stuck. You want to control your neighbors? You better have your facts straight, because sooner or later the truth will find you. So tell me, what do you think? Was I right to fight, or should I have just sold and walked away? Ever dealt with an HOA dictator like Maggie? Drop your stories and opinions in the comments. And if you want to hear how I helped a Florida rancher when his HOA president called the FBI about a duck, hit subscribe, because, folks, the crazy's just getting started.